Lightworkers assemble. I'm Benjamin Bernstein with AstroShaman.com. Yes, I like the Avengers. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's not why I'm here. What I want to talk about today is how we can work with the challenging energies that have recently gotten really strong here on the planet. That's when the Avengers must assemble, and so must the Lightworkers. So in the last few days, I record this on July 2nd, 2022, Supreme Court just passed down some very conservative rulings. They have overturned Roe v. Wade. They have made it easier to carry guns. They have also made it harder for the EPA to enforce environmental regulations. A lot of stuff is going down that's very disturbing to a lot of people. And if I'm not at my best here vocally, I'm in the midst of COVID. I've had that for a few days, and I wanted to get this video out anyway, so I apologize if my voice isn't at its full sonorous resonance as I would like it to be. I'll do my best here, like we all can. I'll demonstrate for you how you can persevere in the midst of challenge. Here's what I recommend you don't do. Do not resort to the dark side tactics. I love the way that the law of one describes the two basic paths of humanity. You can do service to other or service to self. Service to self is about gaining personal power. It's about controlling and restricting others, keeping them under your thumb, and doing whatever it takes to get what you want, even if it causes harm to others. The path of service to other is about, yes, being powerful, but doing it in a way that aids and abets others. Your power is like the rising tide that lifts all the boats, and the things you do with your power help others step into their power as well. Everybody wins. So anything that's not a service to other tactic, I recommend you avoid. That means there's a lot to be upset about. A part of you is probably getting upset about some of the things that are happening in the world right now. But if you give in to anger, as our great stories teach us, Star Wars, if you give in to the hate, you give in to the dark side. What does Dune say? Fear is the mind killer. So you can't give in to the lower things. You'll feel them. Yes, they're legitimate emotions. Don't suppress them, but don't let them dominate you. I love the philosophy put forth by internal family systems therapy. We have one self in many parts. We have parts that don't function as we might wish they would. And we have to acknowledge and love those parts, but we don't give in to them. So in the same way, when you are faced with the challenges we've got in this thing, the very most important thing, I believe, is to work on yourself first. What is in you? I'll speak for myself. What is in me that is still dark, unhealed, toxic, wounded, whatever? How can I face that part, work consciously with it, and either help to release that heavy energy out of the system, or if it is a part of me that is wounded and in pain, can I access that part? Can I unburden it through some skillful form of shadow work, and can I reintegrate it back into me? So the job one, if you're really going to be a first-class light worker, is internal, work on self. This is not inappropriately self-centered. I like to say there's a certain level of enlightened selfishness. And one of the first levels is you've got to go in and do the work inside yourself. If you don't do the internal work, if you don't heal the things inside you that are dysfunctional, then despite your best intentions, all the work you do in the world will be colored by the unhealed parts, and the work you do will be compromised to the degree that you have not fully healed yourself. That's not to say you can't go out and be effective in whatever state you are, but to neglect the internal healing and focus entirely on external action is to be less effective. The more awakened you can be, the more you can come from a space of unconditional love, higher consciousness, divine guidance, the more impactful your service is going to be. And if it takes some time away from that external service to do the internal work, you'll be so rewarded, because in my own experience, the more I've been able to access this inner consciousness and stabilize it within myself, the effectiveness of my own service has magnified hugely. So I know that the time I've spent on self-work has been very, very well rewarded in the effectiveness of my external service. So keep your own awakening, your own healing very much on the front burner as part of your work to the world. And that also solves the second problem, is what do I do? There's so much going on out there. There are so many fires burning in so many areas. And it's easy to see all the things going on that are in challenge and just get overwhelmed and do nothing. And the forces of service to self would love nothing better than for you to feel so overwhelmed that you do nothing. You just sit home and watch Netflix and sit on the couch. Okay, not that there isn't some good stuff on Netflix, but you get my point. So the point is, once you get awake enough, you have internal guidance. And then you know what your particular role is. See, there is a universal intelligence here that's helping the Lightworkers. And it knows exactly what each of us should optimally be doing at any given moment. But if you're not awake enough, if you're not clear enough, unburdened enough to receive that insight, you will not know what to do. And you may do something that seems helpful and it may or may not be the best thing. So that's also why you've got to do that level 1 work, your own healing, your own awakening enough to where you can receive the internal guidance and act on it. And even receiving it's not good enough. How many times have you gotten a great intuition and then part of you doubted it? And the part that wasn't awake said, oh, that can't be right or whatever. And some part of you sabotaged your taking action on the inner guidance. That's part of it too. It's not enough to just get the intuition. You have to be able to actually act on it. One of my own inner prayers every day is I ask for the ease of receiving and acting on my inner guidance. So once you do that, you don't have to worry about what your role is. You'll be given in-the-moment assignments, and you may be flexible enough. You'll be given an assignment, get partway through it, and then the man says, oh, newsflash, we need you on something else. And you'll be able to actually shift away from something you're doing to something that might be more urgent because of something that just happened. You can get just-in-time instruction shifts from inner guidance. So that's very helpful. So be awake enough that you can get the intuition instructions and act on them. And if the information that the people at LL Research, that stands for Love and Light Research, the people who originally channeled the Law of One material is correct, then there are nearly 1 billion beings on the planet who aren't even native to Earth, but they came to help. They're called wanderers. And there's so many people out there who are ready and willing to help. And so you don't have to worry about taking the whole burden of the world just on you. You've got lots of helpers. So one of the critical questions that's relevant to what I said earlier is, what is mine to do? So again, you're not the person who's going to solve the entire world's problems yourself. You just have your little role. And it could be something really big. It could be a Gandhi or Martin Luther King level work. Or it could be you just, being in the store and smiling at someone, or, doing some small encouraging things. Some people do very small scale work. Some people are very large. Some people are anywhere in between. It's not a judgment about how big or small it is. All that matters is you are receiving whatever your guidance is, however large or small it may be, taking that action in the moment. And what could happen as your awakening solidifies and you go deeper, then you may be given larger and larger assignments. You'll never be given more than you can do. So it's not a contest. It doesn't matter who's doing more or less visible work than you, or bigger scale or smaller scale. It's just about you doing what your inner guidance is. And again, this is not decided by your mind or your ego. It's intuitively guided. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then keep working on your awakening and healing, and you will soon enough. By the way, if you want a tool for awakening, I've got a marvelous set of invocations. I call them the IDA invocations. Instant Divine Assistance is what IDA stands for, and I'll put a link to them here in the video. If you want to get to them just directly, you can just go to my site, astroshaman.com, and right in the upper right corner, you'll see the words Instant Divine Assistance. Click on that, and you'll see this little free course I have that can tell you more about that stuff. But I'm not mainly here to pitch you my free course. I really just, whatever you do, whether it's my stuff or not, what I'm suggesting here, bottom line, is put appropriate energy into your own awakening and healing so you can be a clear enough channel so that you can receive your guidance, take the guidance from within, and take action on it as guided in the moment. And of course, what I didn't say, but it's also true, is the more clear you are, the wider your channel gets. People who are not very awake, they're like a pipe that's way clogged up. They just got this tiny little opening in the middle. But the more you awaken, the more that pipe unclogs, it gets bigger and bigger, and more light can channel through there, more energy. And that's why you can be a more effective tool for helping, because if you got a bigger pipeline, you can bring through more light and more energy for whatever you're doing. So there's a lot more to this, but I don't like to make these videos too long or too complicated. So hopefully that's enough to get started. So in summary, there is hope. My own belief is that a shift like this, which is, a very rare and special event, that's why you're here. If you're listening to this, you are part of that. And it's designed to be this way. Perhaps in a shift of this magnitude, things have to come to a fever pitch. It has to look impossible. It has to look like the dark side is winning. And maybe that's the level of intensity it has to get to make the breakthrough to a more beautiful reality. So that's the story I'm telling myself. And I would strongly encourage you, stay on the high road, keep working on your own awakening, your own healing, your own inner guidance, taking action on it. If the tools I offer at astroshaman.com are helpful, great. If not, use the tools that work for you. But I just encourage you, stay on the Lightworker team and know that even if you're just working on your own from your own inner guidance, you're still on the team. You are still part of the Lightworkers who are assembling, and we're happy to have you. So I hope this is helpful. If you've got questions, feel free to pop me an email, benjamin@astroshaman.com, or communicate by voice or text, 828-338-9852. This is all below the video too. So I'm certainly part of the Lightworker team quite consciously. Happy to be here sharing this with you. I hope it's helpful. And if I can be of any help, let me know. I also offer services at astroshaman.com. I do astrology, shamanic healing, internal family systems therapy, life coaching, and other stuff. I've got a membership called Awakening Plus that supports folks who are on the Lightworker team, and all that's available from there. But whether you get with my stuff or not, whatever you're inclined to do, whatever you're intuited to do, more accurately, please do it, because every one of us needs to be on bat. And that's the main message I got that really inspired this whole video. They said, tell everyone it's time to go into action now with whatever they have. You will never be as good as you think you need to be to do this. So just start now. And I've gotten repeated, instructions. Well, they don't instruct. They give suggestions. They say, would it be really great if you would tell folks to get out there and serve right now with whatever they have, however unready they may feel. Just there's something they can do. They can say hi to someone. They can smile in the store. They can do a small, kind deed of some kind. We can all help in some way, and it's actually beginning to take action on whatever you're called to do that might help in some small way that will lead to larger and larger things. Little baby steps lead to bigger steps. So please, if you feel like you want to help this world, if you want to make it a better place, more harmony, love, and light, just do whatever you can with whatever you've got. And I'll just leave it there. Again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. Thanks for your time. Many blessings to you.